So, what is probate and why do you want to avoid it? So, if you have assets that total 184,500 or more, you're subject to probate. So, basically, if I was to have you raise your hand if you own a home, I have no idea where you live, but I can guarantee you that it's worth more than 184.5, especially if you are here in Orange County and LA, Southern California, probably all of California, right? So that triggers probate. You can have beneficiary designations for brokerage accounts, life insurance, banking accounts, checking, and it can pass by beneficiary, but it can't pass by beneficiary if you own a home or real property. So, how do they figure this out? What is this probate process called? And the probate well, it used to take a minimum of 1 year. However, ever since COVID and the shutdown, I have been saying that probate could take a year and a half to 2 years. And I have to tell you that even this year in 23, we still have some probate matters that started in 20. And guess what? They turned into a dispute. Beneficiaries are fighting, assets have been frozen, or assets have been sold. Other family members are going after it. They weren't sold correctly, they weren't divided correctly. There's all kinds of issues that can happen. And probate can cost you thousands of dollars. So here's sort of the probate process. The probate process starts with filing a petition. You file a petition and you have someone appointed. Now, this is if you have a will or no will. A will does not avoid probate. Most people call up and they say, I need a will. Yes, you need a will, but you also need a trust, right? Because a will does not avoid probate. So you file your petition whether or not you have a will or a trust or not. If you have a will, then it goes through the process, and your beneficiaries that are named in your will be entitled to get whatever you receive. If you don't have a will, then the state directs who's going to receive your assets. Not a good situation. I don't want the state telling me where my assets are going to go. I don't know about you. So then a probate referee gathers all the assets, whether it's a house, bank accounts, brokerage accounts, personal property, jewelry, life insurance, annuities, right? The probate referee gathers all this and they do an appraisal of all of these assets, right? And then from that appraisal, then we have to send out notice. It gets published in the newspaper and all creditors can come forward. So what that means is creditors get paid prior to any of the beneficiaries getting paid. And also attorneys and personal representatives or executors get paid as well prior to creditors and bills being paid. So we have a little bit of authority over that. And so notice has to be given. And if a beneficiary thinks they're supposed to be receiving more money than another beneficiary, etc., they have to file their own petition. They can contest it. And then at the end of the 2 years, approximately a year to 2 years, then everything's paid and you file another petition to say, this is how it's going to be distributed. And these are the assets that these beneficiaries will receive. But if you don't have a will, it will be according to state law. You might not all agree to that, right? And it depends on if you have community property or separate property, if you have a prenup or a postnup. And if it's a blended family, that's when it can really get into chaos. And that's when you really want to get a trust in place. You do not want your family to go through probate because probate will cost 5% of the fair market value of all of your assets. So here's just a little example, right? You have a family residence, $1 million, and that's the fair market value. It doesn't matter if you only had $900,000 in equity or $100,000 in equity. It goes by the fair market value. So rental property, stocks, bonds, life insurance payable to a minor. If you have a minor, whether it's your children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, if they're a minor, guess what? They cannot receive assets. So it automatically triggers probate. So you want to avoid that. Retirement accounts, same thing. If there's no beneficiary on the retirement account, it's going to go to probate. Or if you name a minor on the account, it's going to go to probate. So 2.73, nice little nest egg. Probably put a couple kids through college, maybe, whether they're your kids, grandkids, nieces and nephews, or your best friend. But look at this. It cost $135,000 to go through probate. That's 5%. So as that total estimated value goes up, remember fair market value, this cost goes up as well. And this is all statutory. You can't negotiate it, right? Many times oh, I got to negotiate the attorney fees. No, no, no. The state says this is how much it will cost. And filing fees are increasing right now. They're not increasing the attorney fees or the executor fees, but they are increasing the filing fees.